so what you're saying now is that we really have almost various tiers. We have at the top of the pyramid or at the top of the tiers, they call the puppet masters that are the international bloodlines to the
Yes.
black nobility, to the Queen of England, to the Zionist to the Zionist bloodlines at the city of London and up through Moscow. Then that comes down to the various nation states. Not surprisingly, the communist nation states, because both Lenin and Mao were Illuminati projects, the Skull and Bones project, through Harriman and Bush's grandfather, George W. Bush's grandfather, and Skull and Bones basically funded Bolshevism and communism and capitalism, and Mao Zedong was a Yale and China project.
You're absolutely correct.
Yeah,
that's right.
And then you've got the UK and the US. The US is sort of the main kind of battlefront or muscle for this, and I'm surprised that Israel that doesn't have a Harp facility, but I guess they're the trigger masters, or maybe the targeters.
Well, it's not clear why they don't, but they may have privileges at these facilities. There's certainly a lot of them at Livermore Nuclear Weapons Lab. There are a lot of Israeli visitors, and we've had the astronaut on the space shuttle. So Israel is definitely part of it, but it may be a hidden part. Yeah. Now, what a radio host told me just a couple of weeks ago, she's in San Diego, and when I was mentioning NASA and Google and the fact that the two Google owners, Sergey Brin and Larry Page, parked their planes, their private planes, at the NASA facility in Mountain View, the woman said, "Oh my God." She said, an engineer who works at that NASA facility told me at night, many Israelis come into the NASA facility. So the Israelis are part of it too, but it's in a more hidden way.
Right. So how do you square that with Barack Obama today suggesting that the Israeli-Palestine go back to the 1967 borders, which is what the Palestinians were asking for? Is that like to secure an even playing field, basically the Arab world, and is that just a different level of the chess game?
Oh, I just think that Obama is absolutely was chosen and created as a black man to carry out this genocide against white people, the whole North American continent. And that huge spiral over Norway when he received his Nobel Peace Prize was an ironic sort of ha-ha by the CIA or this coalition of partners who are really at the top of the pyramid, because he's their step and fetch it guy to carry out all these Harp events. And look what he's done. Look at the Harp events, the tornado episode in the southern United States, Fukushima, which will change forever the North American continent, not to mention it will be contaminated forever with very, very, very dangerous fission products. And while the military manipulated weather to rain for 2 straight weeks, day and night, along the whole west coast of North America, certainly the United States, Obama took his wife and children to the southern hemisphere, never mentioned the danger and never has since, and avoided contamination while he left the whole country that he's the head of, and the head of the military too, to take their dose without a whimper. And not only that, the governor of California, Jerry Brown, who has already been a governor for 2 terms, his sister works for Goldman Sachs, and he declared a state emergency in a number of counties, I think 19 counties, because of all the flooding caused by the military rainout of Obama's nuclear war on the United States. Well, it goes beyond Obama, but it's indicated by his appointment of Dr. Stephen Chu, who won the Nobel Prize for Solar Energy at Stanford. He was moved to the Lawrence Berkeley Lab, which is the home of the Manhattan Project, and received $500 million from BP. He was only there 2 years, just as a holding place, until Obama became president. He immediately appointed Stephen Chu as Secretary of Energy, and Stephen Chu immediately appointed a British petroleum scientist called Dr. Coonan. And so he's one of the undersecretaries of science, and they oversaw the BP disaster in the Gulf. So what is this resulting in? What this is resulting in is a chemical, a very, very nasty chemical pollution, contamination of the southern United States and the eastern United States, which will combine with this radioactive pollution that's arriving from Fukushima, very dangerous fission products. And chemicals plus radiation interact synergistically and multiply the effects of each other. So we're getting huge doses of ionizing radiation and very, very dangerous, more than 1,300, more than 1,300 fission products from Japan. And the East Coast and the southern states are getting a chemical and radioactive cocktail in all their food, their drinking water, and in the air. So clearly, this is having a dreadful, a long-lasting effect, a terrible economic hit on North America, and that includes Canada, the U.S., and Mexico. And this is exactly what they did to the Soviet Union with Chernobyl. They're using these horrific environmental events to bring about transformations in the geopolitical realm.
Well, just to follow up with that, with two kind of the Illuminati mouthpieces, one of whom was former U.S. President Bill Clinton, who of course is a principal in the Bush doping Nina, Arkansas cocaine gang during his term of office in Little Rock as governor, and I think that that's fairly well proven. I recall very distinctly a scene where Barack Obama was first elected president, and Bill Clinton was on the podium with him, kind of introducing him and saying, and these are the exact words, "This is Barack Obama. He's going to be your executioner." That's exactly. He says he's going to execute the laws, but the executioner was the double entendre. It's a Masonic thing, and Obama uses a lot of that where they stick their tongue in their mouth. That's a Masonic thing. It's tongue in cheek. This is Obama. This is your executioner. Now I'm thinking that we've talked about is this not an artificial intelligence that's directing all of this?
I believe that it is. I live in the city of Berkeley, and the University of California and San Francisco State University, probably all the state universities, have been using directed energy weapons and mind control and social engineering on their campuses since the early 1960s. And that was stated in an official U.S. Air Force report by a colonel. I don't remember his name, but I was not surprised to read it because I was an undergraduate at UC Davis in the 60s. And the monkey colony there has been used. It was set up even before the 60s and used since then to develop the mind control technology in animal studies to be applied to humans. And the photo that I have in about 1964 of Nelson Rockefeller beside Edward Teller at the dedication of the Applied Science Facility, new science facility in Davis, was exactly where the animal studies were applied for human application. And I interviewed a man who was kidnapped. His name is Dave Selvey. He's written a book called Project Artichoke, which people can buy through Amazon, about his experience as since his childhood, since he was 8 years old, where he was experimented on with MK Ultra and with mind control chemicals and with EMF, electromagnetic frequencies, in the safe house, which was at Livermore. And Project Artichoke is how they created Manchurian candidates. And that's actually where he saw Sirhan 3 days before the Bobby Kennedy assassination at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles. And Dave said, "I can't remember anything at that time, but I am sure that I was there too."
Exactly. You know, these are very rich areas and shows the interlocking of all these events over 4 decades. But we actually have only about 12 minutes left in this segment.